Hello, good morning all.
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay, let me share the screen. Okay, in today's session, we are going to look on modularization techniques. Okay, so yes, what is basically the modularization techniques is like we are going to have more number of codings in our program, right? If it is small program, say you might be having from line number 1 to 200 or line number 1 to 400, that is okay. But what if it is a larger program? It may be like 1 to 1000 lines even. So which is not readable. You have to scroll each and every time using the cursor, right? So if you take your standard SAP programs like your MM01 transaction, for that if you are taking the program, that program consists of lot of codings inside it. Since it is having multiple tabs, multiple fields, so all the codings are handled in that particular program with larger number, okay, with larger number of lines. So to make it readable, you want to read it, then we are using modularization, some of the modularization techniques. So basically modularization types is segregated as two types. One is source code modularization and the second one is procedure modularization. Okay, source code means it is nothing but your ABAP code. Okay, that is what source code is. In source code you are having two types. The very first one is macros and another one is include. Okay, macro and include. Then in procedure modularization you are having a subroutine and function module, subroutines and function modules. Okay, so which means source code in the sense it will not perform any task, simply some data declarations or some set of codings, that's it. So but in case of procedure modularization, that particular code will perform some task like say it will pass the values or passing the parameters, and yes, it will pass some values in between the program. So that is why this subroutine and the function module is called procedure modularization. Okay, source code means simply a declaration or any other set of codings which will not perform any action. Procedure modularization performs some task like passing the values within for the parameter within the program. Subroutine and function modules or procedure modularization. Okay, so let us see each of the technique one by one. Okay, so now let me take the uh, very first one, source code modularization. In source code modularization, the very first type is include. I'm going to create one include program. So take, okay, so I'm just creating include top, which is specifically for declaring the uh, structures, internal tables, or constants, or any other variable. If you need na, you can always create one top include, and you can write the codings inside it. So now I have given one name over here in SC38 transaction itself. Now I'm clicking on create button. So you can give your title as top include. Okay, then here the type should be the include program. Okay, instead of executable program, you will choose include program for creating include program. And after selecting this, click on save button. You can save it in any package or local object. Okay, so when you create include program like this, it will be created. Here you can start declaring your structures. So like this, you can just declare your program and activate it. Okay. So basically, you are segregating some part of code. Like in one include, you will have data declaration, and in another include, you have select queries, and in the last include, you can have the data display part. Like in another include, you can have reuse ALV grid display function module call. So like that, you can segregate it. Basically, include programs is all for segregation. After that, if you try to execute this, you will get something like operation terminated. Why? Because you cannot execute your include program independently. Okay, you cannot execute even after activating the include. If you are trying to execute it, nothing will come. It is showing that operation terminated, like that, because you cannot execute include program independently. You should use this include program in any one of the executable program. Like that, you have to create one executable program and you have to include over there. For example, so this is the program which I have created earlier. This is executable program only. So inside this, you can see how you can find executable program. If it is executable program, this statement will appear: report and the program name. And you can also check by going to attribute. Go to attribute. If you go to attribute, here you can see the title along with the type, executable program. So here you can change it. If you want to change now, you can change also. But always create the correct type. Okay, don't change mostly. But yeah, so this is executable program. So inside this executable program, I can include, use this include, but this cannot be executed independently at the time of creation. So like this, I have created many includes. You can see I created 4 to 5 includes, because if you scroll down and check, so it is readable, right? There is not more than 25 lines. You can simply click on this include and navigate to another screen. Here there will not be more than 25 lines, so which is very readable. And you can reuse it also, which is reusable also, because you can use the same include in any program, any number of executable program. Since you are having common declaration over here, since this declaration is needed for many program, you can reuse it also. So yeah, like this you can have separate include. For selection screen you can design separate include. Then here you can see I have used the event initialization for initializing the value, and at selection screen output I have included this include, three include. You can see in the very first include I have used looped screen. I told you now you can use looped screen in at selection screen output. So here I use that looped screen end loop modify screen. Then after that in at selection screen I have handled the messages validations in at selection screen. Then I have used at selection screen on value request for. Like that you can segregate and use the events also inside this include. Then after that in the next include I used to start of selection, this event start of selection event, then my select query, and in end of selection you can see only I have displayed the program using reuse ALV grid display. And in my last include I'll be having field catalog thing. But this field catalog form, this field catalog should be called before the ALV, reuse ALV grid display. Before reuse ALV grid display, you have to call this form. For example, here you can see perform field catalog. This field catalog, when you double click, it will be inside this include, another include. It will be inside another include, but which is called before the reuse ALV grid display. Okay, so this and all you should be very careful while writing the coding. Okay, uh, always place the thing in the proper place. Okay, always write your code in the proper place, else nothing will work. You will not get any field catalog or anything. You will not get. Now I am going to execute this. So since I have not designed top of page, end of page in this program, it will not display. But you can see the output. I just fetched 5 fields in the program. Okay. This is the grid, ALV grid. Okay. You can use the field catalog additions like edit, hotspot, anything you can do. But this is how you can modularize your program using include statement. Keep in remember, include is one of the source code modularization which does not perform any task. Okay, and include program cannot be executed independently. These are the two important points of the include. Okay, keep in mind. After this include, you are having another thing called macros. Okay, I will show you the example for macros. Nowadays, we are not using macros. Okay, you will not see this macros anywhere. It becomes obsolete. Like here you can see, right? The statement define and end of definition. This is called macro. This is also another source code modularization technique, which does not perform any action. It simply contain the set of codings for segregation. Okay, this particular define can be reused in a same program. This is also reusable in a same program. Include, you can use it in different program. Like once you create include program, you can use the same include in multiple report program. But if you are defining this define statement, if you are using this define statement, you can use this define statement only within this program. Okay, which is reusable. So this define and the end of definition is called macros. We are not using it, but you should know about this macro. Okay, so you can give any name for macros, then you can have some set of codings like this. Okay, then yeah, basically this is what field macros is. So if you see in this presentation, you are having, this is how you will define macros. It will be in define and end of definition statement. Example you can see here, it's a simple program. Like you have declared three variables within define and end of definition. Basically you are performing some action. Result is equal to ampersand 1 ampersand 2 ampersand 3. Output ampersand 1 ampersand 2 ampersand 3 into result. Okay, so ampersand in the sense it's like the addition operation actually. Sorry, not addition. It's like usually for macros you will use that ampersand symbol for variable. You can say for variable. If it is ampersand 1 is equal to 1, ampersand 2 equal to 4, ampersand 3 means it's 8, like that basically. But the main statement is define end of definition. Like this you can write. Okay, so this is what about macros. uh, then we can see the very third type, that is the procedure modularization technique. Procedure modularization technique, we have one concept called function module. Okay, so I have one program for function module. I will tell you, this is the very third type. So already we have seen many function modules, right? What are all the function modules? Can anyone name some few function modules where we have seen that function module? Anybody please try to answer. Do you remember in the last class we have seen some function modules, right? Which you are using regularly in your programs.
The material management, plant maintenance.
Uh, that is that is module, which is different. Okay, module is different. I'm talking about function module. Like you have used to reuse ALV grid function module, na? I told you, you can, how you can call the function module. This is what function module is. Like for example, if you go to pattern and if you use reuse ALV grid display, in call function, in this radio button, you have to check this radio button and click on this tick button. Automatically that call function statement will be appearing over here, right? This is called function module. What you said is module. Okay, that is plant maintenance, material management, all this are modules. But in SAP, function module is this one. Okay, so this is what the uh, it is called procedure modularization, which means it is going to perform some task. What task? It is going to export and import some values. Before that, how to create this function module? We are having separate transaction code for creating the function module. Okay, just take /o SC37. Okay, uh, SC37 is the transaction code for creating this function module. Okay, which is reusable, and it can be used in multiple programs, multiple SC38 executable programs. Okay, so now when you go inside, you can see this number of tabs. First, go to the very first tab. Here, what you will do, let me take it in change mode. So now you can see there are three options. Okay, only three options. One is, this is the types of function modules basically. So which means we are having normal function module, remote enabled function module, and update function module. So normal function module is like you are creating one function module with import parameter which acts as input. Like you take your report program. In report program, you are having parameter and select option for giving inputs, right? Parameter is for single input, select option is for multiple input. Like that, in import, you will be having input parameter. You will pass that input to your function module, and in export, you will have the internal table where usually you get some result. Not only internal table, it might be any other variable, work area, structure, anything you can have it in your export parameter. Export parameter acts as a output. Okay, and changing under tables na, these are also for output only. Changing also, it is for getting the output, and tables also for getting the output. Here you can declare in tables, basically you will declare internal tables only. If you take reuse ALV grid display function module, there you will pass the internal table name, right, inside the function module. So previously they were using this tables button particularly for declaring internal table, but nowadays we are using export tab for declaring structures, internal tables, or variables, anything. In changing also you can declare the same. Exceptions is like, what is the meaning of exception? There is some error or there is some problem. So for raising that error, you are having exception. Like you take messages. I have told you about messages. In messages, you can have error message, warning message, information message, success message. So like that, you can handle error. Like the material is invalid, or there is no data in database table for the selected input, for the select given input. Like that you can give source code. This source code tab is similar to your ABAP editor, that is SC38. Here you can have some set of codings also. That it is not necessary that you must have coding here. You can use this if you want. If you want, you can use the source code tab and you can have some common set of coding over here. Like what basically this function module should perform, what kind of coding this function module should have, that coding you can write here. Suppose this function module I have created for the calculator option, like addition, minus, division and all. So what I'm doing, I'm writing code. If button equal to 1, then the output is equal to input 1 plus input 2. Okay, button equal to 2 means then your output is equal to value 1, value 2. So these two values I have declared in input. Value 1 and value 2 I have declared. And button is also input. When I press button only, that two values should get added, subtracted or whatever. So I have declared button also here. So here you can always, you will give type only, and associated type is like I not I, you can, I means it's integer. If you want any other thing, like if you are declaring material number as input, then you will declare like this. Basically, associated type means data type. That's it, nothing. Okay. So like this. If you want to have any default value in single quotes, you can give, but please be sure that value should be correct, appropriate. Okay, that is important. Okay, like this, if you want to have default value, you can give it over here. So this optional is like, na, I will tell you. Here you are having two options. One is optional, another one is pass by value. I will tell about this pass by value later, but optional in the sense, if you check this checkbox now in program, here this particular line will come in hidden. It will be commented and it will come like commented. Like in ALV grid, we have seen now while calling this pattern and reuse ALV function module, these all are coming as commented. Why? Because here in your function module in SC37, if you check this optional option, then it will come as commented one. Okay, so like this you can declare any number of variables over here. You can delete also. You are having plus button, you are having minus button, which is for insert row, delete row. You can copy the same line, you are having copy button, and you can have you can paste it over here with a new name. So like that you can do if you want. So same it will be in export also. Like in result, you will give output parameter, that is result in this export tab, and the same thing type you can give type type. Then in associated type you will give data type. If it is character, you can give char10. If it is integer, you can give I, or anything you can give as you want. Okay, so you can maintain the short text also over here if you want. Okay, you can type it and you can maintain. In tables, if you are having any internal table, then please declare it over here. Here it is not type because it is type table of, right? So you can use like instead of type. Okay, because here it will not accept type. Type means what? It is like your structure. For structure only or for work area only, you will declare type. If you put like, then it will accept here because it refers to Mara table itself. It will not take it as what to say. It will not take it as work area or structure. If you mentioned like means, it will take it as table itself. Okay. Like line of means structure. Please understand the difference. Like a line of means structure. You should not declare like that. You should declare like only. Then only it will consider it as internal table. Okay, in tables it will not accept a type table of and all. See, I'm trying to write type table of. It will not accept. What it is showing, type table of, type line of construction not supported. That's why we are not using this nowadays. Sorry. So we are this particular tab becomes obsolete. We are declaring internal tables here itself. Here itself I can declare. Okay. So yeah, this is how you can use your function modules. Okay. So if you want, anyway, output parameters should come. That's why we are not having any optional option for this export parameter. For changing, you are having this optional option. For tables, you are having this optional option. If you are having any exception, then you can give it here. How you can give it, like no data, and here you can maintain the short description like material not found. Like that you can have short description. What error message you want to display, that error message you can maintain it over here. And this no data is the name for that, name for raising that error. Okay, so no data. Then what text you want to display, like that you can maintain. I will tell about this deeply in the next session. I will show with example, but now you can look on this. Then source code, as I said, I have maintained like this. Okay, after this, if you see, go to attribute, normal function module is like, you just you will have all the parameters over here, and you will simply call in any number of executable program like this. So these all are the normal function module. Okay, remote enabled function module, in the sense all tabs will be same only. Okay, all the tabs will be same only, and the process is same. Here you will declare input. In export parameter you will have output, and in source code if you want any coding you can have it. But the thing is that this remote enabled module specifically created if needs to be called in any other system rather than SAP. Okay, if you want to call the same function module in any other system which do not have SAP, take Java. By Java programming, if you want to run the same function module, you can do it. Okay, so that is why you go for creating remote enabled module. Okay, then this update function module. Why this update function module we are creating is like for updating the database table. If you want to update any standard database table, then you create function module, and using this function module you can update it. Okay, while updating the database table there are four modes, that is start immediately, then immediate start, no restart, start delayed, collective run. These four are the types of update function module. So the database update will start immediately by default. Okay, because the very first option is start immediately, which is already checked. If you check immediate start, no restart, in the sense like it will be started immediately, but uh, sometimes when the system update the database, restart will happen. Okay, in start immediately, first the system will restart it while updating it, then it will start. But here immediate start, no restart. Without any restart, the update happens immediately. Start delayed in the sense like, uh, you can set some time, like from this time to this time, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., like that you can set. uh, you cannot set, the system itself sets automatically. You cannot set the timing, but it will be delayed, like the system will postpone it for some time, postpone the update for some time. Collective run is like, it is like background. You cannot see the update, but like collective run, all the updates will happen at, say for example, after shutting down your system. Okay, uh, if you just check this fourth option, collective run, all the database tables, like if you want to update multiple database tables, then you can, in source code you can write the multiple table name with the modify statement. What is table update? You will use modify statement for updating the table, right? So here you can use modify database table from internal table, like that. For multiple database table, you can write the coding here, and you can go for attribute, and you can click on this update module collective run. Even after shutting down, all the data will update. It is almost similar to start delayed, which means some after some time the database update will happen. Say in the midnight it can happen. In a larger company, what they will do, they will upload the data in a background. For example, we will be having multiple records, multiple datas, which may take much time to upload, get uploaded in the table. So you don't have to sit in front of the screen while uploading. You can just set some timer, or you will select some background option. So after not shutting down, you simply keep your system idle, in idle mode, and you went. And tomorrow morning if you are coming na, that particular database table will be successfully uh, updated. Database updates will happen automatically during the night time. So that is what this collective run refers to, and the start delayed refers to. So it's these four options telling about the nature of update, how we want to update, whether immediate basis or after some time, like that. The system, SAP system will set the time for that. You don't have to set any time, like updating the table. It will automatically set time by itself. But yeah, update module is specifically for updating the database table. And remote enable module, like if you are going to use the same function module with any other codings or with any other remote systems, then you can use remote enabled module, which is called RFC, remote function call, they will say. Normal function module, which is we are creating and using in our SE38 program. 80% you will create normal function module only. Okay, this two function module you will not create. You may ask me, okay, by using normal function module, can't I update my database table? Yes, you can do it. You can create normal function module. Here in source code you can write the same modify statement itself for updating the database table. It is possible, but if you want, if you are expert, or if you are experienced in this update module, you can just use this option. But by normal function module also you can update your database tables, which is possible. Okay. Mm, so yes, so here while creating itself, you will give short text, which means to understand why you have created this function modules, And here in general data, you can see who created this and when it is created and in which package it is stored, and the program name for this function module. Like the program name means the function group basically. So everything will be here. Okay, edit lock means if you put edit lock, no one can edit it. So you can put edit lock also. So yeah, this is what basically the function module is. So inside this function module, you can have another function module, which means in source code tab, I can call another function module also here. Okay, here by using pattern, reuse, like that. If I'm using now, I can just call another function module also in this function module. Okay, in source code tab, I can call. So this is all about your function module. After creating this, you are passing this import and export parameter to your SE38 program, right? Because here you have just simply created the function module. Anyway, you can directly execute here and you can test it. Like here you can see 30, which means I entered some input and having 1. So 30. Like that you can execute, you can test your function module here. Okay, button 1 means, like here I have written code na, 1 means addition, 2 means division, like that. Okay, or you can either test it here or you can use it in your program. You can call it your program. When you call it in your program, what you are doing? While calling in your program, see, you are exporting the value and importing the value. There you are declared it as import parameter. But when it comes to SC38, this import parameter will be your exporting parameter. Okay, here your exporting parameter will be your importing parameter. Okay, basically from there it is importing, here it will be exporting. If there it is exporting parameter, here you will import it. Okay, and for this uh, you have to declare here, you have to declare variable here the same type. These two types should match. For example, for import parameter, you'll be having type I na, the same type should be here. Okay, while declaring it here also, that is you will declare it as parameter only for input na, so it is parameter only. If you declare with any other data, like if that particular data type is mismatching na, error will come, you will not get output. So make sure this two data types should match. That is in your function module as well as in your program. And here I have designed 4 buttons as radio buttons, that is for addition, division, multiplication and subtraction. And I have declared commonly as group, radio button group RG1. I will tell about this group, why we are mentioning it as group later. Okay, but see, for result and button I have declared as type I. And if this radio button or add is equal to X means button is equal to 1. Okay, like that I am just simply writing the code. This is the statements. Okay, if else if that statement you can use. If that add button equal to X, then you are setting button equal to 1. Why you are giving this coding? Because in your function module, what you have written, when button is equal to 1, you are adding it over here. So you want to make that button enabled. That's why if the very first radio button is equal to X, then button is equal to 1, then button is equal to 2, like that. After this one, you are simply calling the function module. This function module na, you will call it over here. How you will call? Using pattern statement, you will call. Okay. Then after calling, you please enable the button. If you have given anything optional, just enable the required one. After that, you simply print it using write statement. You want the result only. So now if you see now, I'm executing it. This 2 is parameter. I have given some value over here. Now the very first button is enabled out by default. Now I'm executing it. Just a second, hold on. Okay. Here the problem is, I got it. You have to use all the parameters. Okay. If you are declaring normal function module only. Okay. So you can see the result. Result is 20. So if you are selecting second option division, the result will be 1. 10 divided by 10. So like that you can have multiplication, it will be 100. So all this, yeah. So like that. Okay, if it is subtraction, it is 0. So all these operations are already coded inside this function module. So why? Because this is common and it is performing some task by passing import and export parameter. That's why it's called procedure modularization, which can be implemented in many programs, which is reusable. So that is why it is called modularizing. Readability and reusability. Okay. So this is how you can create and you can use it. So if you want to create your own, just create like this. ZBRI, like that. Anything you can have. ZMMCALC, like that. You can give your own name. Create. Whenever you are creating, it will ask for function group. So before creating function module, you should be aware about the function group. Now I'm taking this Z star and pressing on F4 button to find some function module. Okay, now I'm using any of these function modules, but before that, you make sure you have your own function group. Okay, I already told you what function group is. Function group acts as a container for storing multiple database tables as well as function module. While creating table maintenance generator, you used this function group, right? You have given authorization group, function group. Do you remember? Likewise, whenever you are creating function module also, you have to give the function group. So like that you can click on tick button. When you click on tick, it will show information only. Function module name reserved for SAP. That is not a problem. Just click on tick mark and start creating. Okay. Like if you go to attributes, by default it will be normal function module, and you just declare the import parameter, export parameter, and if you want source code, you can have it here, and exception you can maintain it here, and click on this activate button, and individually, independently you can test it. So this is how you create function module. Function group, again I'm telling you how you can create function group. Go to function groups, create group. After creating the function group, you have to activate it in SC80. Remember that. Go to SC80 and place, you just select your function group, right click and activate it. Select function group from this option. Put your function group. Here, if you double click, then this is activated. Don't double click. Just right click on it and you can activate. Okay. So whenever you create function group, 2 includes created automatically. This is some standard program. That is why this many includes are coming. But by default, only 2 function group will come. That is this 2. One is top function group, another one is UXX, which is having body content. One is for top content, which is for declarations, and another include this UXX include will be for the body content. That you don't have to concentrate and all. You just create function group, activate it, and assign it wherever you need it. So this is all about your function group and function module. Okay, that is the third type. Do you have any doubts in this 3 concept? There is one more thing called subroutine. Subroutine also you already seen in your report program. That is perform statement, which begins with form and end form. That is called subroutine. Subroutine is the 4th type of modularization technique that we can see in tomorrow's class. So far, any doubts? No, right?
No, ma'am.
Then we can end the session for today. Tomorrow we can connect for the remaining. Okay. Before that, please again, today I will inform Surya for your evaluation. You just please be prepared with that. I'm going to send you one specification or requirement tomorrow. Specifically, that requirement is for subroutines, modularization techniques, basically, that you can practice it. If you are having any doubts, you can correct it. Tomorrow I will share it. After completing subroutine, I will share that specification. But tomorrow, please be prepared till reports. At least till reports, you all please be prepared. You will be having interview on tomorrow or Thursday or any day this week. Please be prepared. Okay, till reports you will be having. Okay, then thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.